Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
My friends, we have another giant plate full of key information to cover on this September 5th, 2012, Wednesday edition. We're going to be here for the next 3 hours. Let's go ahead and talk to Jesse in Illinois, and then Carl, Mark, Kevin, Lone Star, and others. Go ahead, Jesse, you're on the air. Come on air, brother. You're on the air. Go ahead. I can't hear that caller. Our phone. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh.
Go ahead.
This is Eric from the hemp revolution is starting right now. We got the Hemp History Week. This is the last day. We just had Rand Paul endorse this new amendment to this hemp bill. He's endorsing it when Romney is acting like he doesn't know what hemp is when someone confronted him. This is a
yes, that's some good news that they are trying to decriminalize marijuana, not so that they don't have a federal excuse to SWAT team everybody's house. I think that's great.
But I have some key news I need to tell you. There's this global cannabis commission that...
Sir, I'm not taking calls on cannabis. We're not screening your calls, but you don't call in and talk about how you want to smoke pot all day. They're
not about that.
Shut up! Hang up on him. And listen, I'm going to stop taking calls here in a minute if this goes on because the phone system is all scrambled. It's up and down, okay? I'm angry, man. And I'm tired of people calling up so stoned they can hardly talk.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back, my friends. I appreciate you joining us today on this Wednesday transmission. Coming up, Chris Hedges, Pulitzer Prize winner, to give us the latest on the police state and his fight against the NDAA and American citizens now disappearing off the streets for the crime of terrorism. And what's terrorism? Peacefully protesting. And the LAPD is now arresting people in their front lawns taking photos, saying it's terrorism. They've got the deputy police chief quoted in the news saying, well, they're terrorists. We know of 5 cells operating in L.A. Really, you do, huh? Makes me sick how out in the open it is. See, I'm not in a trance. I'm not helpless. I'm not Stockholm Syndrome victim number 300 million. I'm awake. I see what's going on. And let me tell you, they're killing millions of us. Hundreds of thousands with this, hundreds of thousands with that. You know, the chem weapons, the cancer, the heart disease, the brain damage, the neurological disorders. They're killing us on the left. They're killing us on the right. And I'm sitting here watching their murder machine just roll on, just chewing people up, sucking them in and blasting them as bloody hunks out the back. And I'm supposed to just go along with it. Oh, the government's got a race for the cure, not a race to find the cause, why it's exploding. No, let's have the very people running the whole thing. Let's go raise money to give it to them to develop a cure for the elite, which we'll never get. While they kill us. They give us cancer like rats and then study how to cure even the worst cases on us. That's what they call MD Rockefeller medicine, the practice. They practice on you. Just like psychologists 100 years ago in front of their students, you can pull up the photos online. You can pull up psychiatrist lobotomizing someone, photos. And it'll show all sorts of black and whites. There's even old film footage in the 20s where, you know, you've got somebody sitting there strapped down and all the psychiatrists are laughing, the psychiatry students, and they just take an ice pick and go, rah! You see the weird psycho look in the photos, and there's film of them doing it up in the 20s and 30s, just groogling an ice pick in the front of the brain, just crazed, getting off on it. Just like a murderer in a back alley wants to jam a ice pick in somebody's head, but they do it right in front of everybody because they're wearing a white lab coat of the high priest. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. and we just take it because they wear a blue uniform. They wear a white lab coat. While the Queen of England, she wears a big crown with jewels in it. I mean, she's got an ancient headdress on. How about we all run to some deserted island and try to find some pygmy king and bow down to somebody in New Guinea who's, you know, eating his neighbors because he's got big plumes of the paradise bird in his head, and nobody else is allowed to wear those. So we just fall down and say, kill me, eat me, chop my heart out because you're government, you're God. Oh, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for all the scum. Thank you for all the trash. Thank you for organizing armies of nothing control freaks with stunted brains to rule over greater men and women. Thank you for all the ugliness you wrought. Thank you for all the disease. Thank you for all the stupidity. Thank you for all that flows out of your hell pit. Our humanity is just kicking at the gates like a battering ram to ram down the enemy's fortress. And to see you rise, 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 awaken, come alive. Refind your humanity. And they call this being a maniac. I call this being alive. 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 Yes, more. I want to be alive. And that concludes the rant portion of this transmission. I need to go ahead and get into the news. But I'm here ranting because this is how I feel. I've tried intellectual debates. I've shown you the facts, everything. And all I know is all I can do is show you your own humanity that's in me. Show you the fires of liberty. Show you what built the Panama Canal. What built the plane at Kitty Hawk. What built the Saturn rockets. What created the music of Beethoven, who would run around crazed in his studio. Just like I am right now. This is what creates civilization. This is what humanity is. This is who we are. I will tell you, you will not ever partake of what God has in store. You will never cross the River Jordan, New World Order. You will never go to the next level of humanity. You are damned to hell, and you know it. You will never be part of it. You will fail. You failed from the beginning. Your attack on our species will be grievously visited upon you by yourselves, by your own creation, your own work. God will use the pits you've dug for us to destroy you. All we need to do is testify to the truth, and the fires you've built for us will consume you. This is why I'm really feeling, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm up here covering the news. This is what I'm really thinking about. And there's a fight between those of us that want goodness and those that want badness. And you've got to choose what you want. And you've got to decide what you serve. But you must decide now. The decision is what is important. And then everything else flows through it. The floodgates will open. Everything flows from the spiritual decision that you're not going to find in these establishment churches that are government run. It's like 65 degrees in here, but I'm so hyped up, I'm sweating. When I start ranting and raving on air, it's real, but it's not. That said, I could control myself and not do it. So it's real, that's how I feel, but I allow myself to do it. I let myself get a little bit out of control because it's therapy. I mean, I'm desperate. I'm upset. I know they're poisoning us, and I have all their own documents admitting it. I'm looking at Eco-Science written by this White House science czar right over there where he brags about it. I'm upset. And I don't like seeing people trapped in delusion and loving the delusion. with preconditioned, hypnotic programming. I know I'm right. And when you have this kill grid being set up and you have all the torture and the wars and Homeland Security saying no Bill of Rights and Constitution and we the people are the target, if ranting and raving gets people out of their trance, which it does. See, at first it's entertainment for people. I always did this naturally. I didn't do it on purpose. I sometimes just got out of control, and it really helped make the show successful. So now, in the last few years, when I really feel like ranting, I don't do it as much as I used to. I used to do it out of frustration. Now I've gotten a little more disciplined and focused, so I don't do it as much. But then when I do it, it's even more out of control because that's how I feel. And so a lot of people like it. Some people don't. I'm sorry, it's real. And, you can't argue with success, but there are, again, the Associated Press is in hundreds of TV stations on their websites posted, and hundreds of newspapers. I can't even count them all right now. Basically coming out implying that the bullet story is an exaggeration by us. What they did is divert from the $1.4 billion, find one piece of minutia, and claim our report was that. And that's basically lying by omission.